Machine-Readable Publishing, Sitemaps, web feeds, and dataset pages for LLMs. Websites reach people and computers like search engines and chat assistants by being easy to find and understand. One way to help this is by using structured publishing artifacts, special files and pages that a machine can read. For example, an XML sitemap lists every page on your site so search bots can discover them all. A web feed, RSS or Atom, lists recent updates so tools see new content quickly. And dedicated dataset or methodology pages explain any data or methods you used, often with structured data, like schema.org markup, so systems like Google's dataset search can find them. In this article, we explain how to use these artifacts to improve discoverability. We will look at checking your sitemap coverage and last mod dates, ensuring feed freshness, creating clear data method pages, testing changes with tools, and monitoring improvements like crawl frequency and assistant citations. Finally, we offer a maintenance plan and rollout steps. XML sitemaps. An XML sitemap is a file, often sitemap.xml, that tells search engines about all the pages on your site. It is like giving them an index of your site. Google says a sitemap enables search engines to discover all pages on a site and to download them quickly when they change. You should make sure your sitemap covers every important page you want to be indexed. Common mistakes are missing pages or listing URLs blocked by robots.txt or marked no index. Use only canonical, official URLs in the sitemap. Each URL entry can have a last mod date, which should be the time the page content last really changed. Google's guide stresses that the last mod field should reflect a meaningful change to the page. In practice, update that date only when the content or main info has changed, not on every page load. An SEO expert warns that updating 5,000 or 10,000 pages last mod every day without actual changes will make search engines trust your freshness cues less. In other words, do not bump dates for trivial edits, or search bots may ignore your sitemap signals. For active sites, update the sitemap regularly. Google recommends updating it at least once a day if your site changes often. If your site has more than 50,000 pages or is large, you can use multiple sitemap files in a sitemap index. Each sitemap file has a 50,000 URL or 10 megabyte limit. Whenever you update the sitemap file, submit it to Google via Search Console or by pinging Google. Though note Google has deprecated the ping API. Search Console Sitemaps report lets you submit a sitemap URL and see if Google parsed it correctly. You can use an XML sitemap generator tool or your CMS plugin to build and check the sitemap for errors. Google also suggests testing that the sitemap file is accessible to Googlebot, for example, via Search Console's URL inspection. To summarize, here are key checks for sitemaps. Coverage. Does the sitemap include every page to be indexed? Remove any URLs that are blocked, broken, or duplicates. Last modified dates. Ensure last mod is accurate. Only change it when content is actually updated. Updates. Regenerate and submit the sitemap whenever content changes, daily if active. Validation. Use the Search Console Sitemaps report to find parse errors and fix them. Web feeds, RSS Atom. A web feed, RSS or Atom, is like a news feed that lists your latest pages or articles. It is typically small and only includes recent updates. Google suggests that in addition to a sitemap, you should provide an RSS or Atom feed so that search engines can stay on top of new content. The advantage is that feeds are crawled or checked more often, helping search engines index new pages sooner and keep your content fresh. Make sure your feed is set up correctly. Each time you add or update a page in a significant way, that page's URL should appear in the feed with its update time. For example, an update in RSS or updated in Atom. Google advises that the feed must include every update since the last time Google fetched it, so no published item is missed. A good solution is using WebSub, formerly PubSub. It lets you automatically notify subscribers, including search engines, whenever your feed changes. As with sitemaps, validate your feed's format. You can use the W3C feed validation service or similar tools to check for XML errors. Also check that all recent content is indeed in the feed. If the feed is broken or missing new posts, search engines might not notice your updates. RSS Atom best practices. Full updates. When you publish or significantly update a page, add its URL plus timestamp to the feed immediately. Complete history. Don't trim updates. The feed should contain all items since the last fetch by Google, so nothing is lost. Use WebSub. If possible, use a hub to push feed updates so Google and readers get notified quickly. Validation. Regularly check the feed with a validator. Fix any coding errors or outdated entries. Implementing a good feed can be simple. Many content management systems, CMS, auto-generate an RSS feed. Just ensure it's enabled and includes all your blog posts or news items. If you add pages in other sections like documentation, consider adding them to the feed or creating multiple feeds if needed. Dataset and methodology pages. If your site publishes data or details about how you produce content, having separate pages for datasets or research methods can improve discovery. These pages should explain what the data is and how it was collected or generated. They become valuable resources for others and for machines. Google offers a special dataset search tool, and it relies on structured data, schema, on your dataset pages. By marking up a data page with @type dataset and adding fields like name, description, creator, and formats, you help Google understand that you have a dataset, which can then appear in dataset search results. Even if you aren't registering in dataset search specifically, clear dataset pages help. For example, if your site has tables of figures, CSV files, or code data, write a descriptive page for each dataset or big file bundle. Use JSON-LD or microdata on that page to label it as a dataset. See schema.org/dataset. Google's documentation shows how this structured data should look. Similarly, a methodology page describing your methods or formulas could use schema types like how-to or creative work to signal the content type. Key points for these pages. Create a clear landing page for each dataset or method with human-readable text and metadata. Add schema.org markup, e.g., @type dataset data download for files, to the HTML or JSON-LD, as Google recommends. Link to these pages from your main site, so they're not isolated. Internal links, see next section, help them get crawled. Validate the structured data with Google's rich results test to catch errors. By doing this, machines, search engines, data catalogs, LLM crawlers can find not just your articles, but also the raw info behind them. For instance, Google mentions that supporting datasets with structured data makes them easier to find in the dataset search tool. In a similar way, clear method pages with the right markup can form a reliable reference that an AI assistant might use when explaining your work. Implementation and validation. Once you've planned these updates, it's time to implement and test them. Break the work into steps. Audit current setup. Check your existing sitemap and feed. Do they contain what they should? Compare the sitemap URLs against a site crawl or list of pages. Make sure important pages aren't missing and that no index pages are excluded. Check last mod dates to see if they look current. Update sitemap. Use a sitemap generator. Many CMS have plugins or tools like XML sitemaps to rebuild the sitemap, including any missed pages. Set it to automatically update when new pages go live. Ensure the last mod tag is set to the page's last content change date. Refresh web feed. If you don't have an RSS Atom feed, set one up for your site or sections of your site. If you have one, verify that it's up to date and includes all latest items. Ensure the timestamp in each feed entry matches the publish update time of your content. Create improved data pages. If needed, create pages that present your data or methods. Add descriptive text and the proper structured data markup, e.g., JSON-LD with @type dataset for data pages. Use test tools below to catch any errors in the markup. Validate with tools. Now check everything with the right tools. For sitemaps, use Google Search Console. The Sitemaps report can tell you if Google could fetch and parse your sitemap. Fix errors shown there. Also, use a general XML validator or SEO tool to detect syntax issues. For feeds, use the W3C feed validator or similar to ensure the RSS Atom format is correct. For any structured data, dataset pages, or other markup, use Google's rich results test or the schema markup validator. Enter a page URL or code to see if there are any JSON-LD or schema errors. Fix any critical errors to be sure search engines will read your data. Submit updated sitemap. After fixing your sitemap, submit the new sitemap URL to Google and other search engines if relevant. In Search Console, you paste the sitemap link in the Sitemaps report and click Submit. That tells Google about any new updates right away. Check accessibility. Ensure that all these pages, sitemap, feed, dataset pages are not blocked by robots' text or requiring login. In Search Console or with curl, fetch the URLs as Googlebot to confirm they return a 200 status. Any issues will prevent crawling. At each step, keep clear records of what you changed. Use the Search Console and validators until they report success. For example, a successful sitemap submission in Search Console means no errors in how it's written. If problems come up, like format errors or broken links, fix them before moving on. Monitoring changes. After rollout, you want to see if these updates are helping. Two things to watch are crawl frequency and assistant references. Crawl frequency. Check Google Search Console's crawl stats report. This report, available under Settings, Crawl Stats in Search Console, shows how often Googlebot has been requesting pages on your site. After making your updates, see if Googlebot visits more often or fetches more pages. Also review the index coverage and pages reports in Search Console to see if new pages are being indexed. If your sitemap is correct and feeds are fresh, Google should recognize new content faster. We also know from SEO research that internal linking affects crawler behavior. A study found that pages with 5 or more internal inbound links were recrawled more often and thus stayed fresher in AI results than orphaned pages. In practice, make sure new or data pages are linked from main pages or a hub so Googlebot finds them. Assistant references. Measuring citations by AI assistants, like ChatGPT, is tricky, but there are ways to get clues. SEO tools like Ahrefs Brand Radar have analyzed millions of AI citations. Their research shows AI models tend to cite fresher content. ChatGPT's preferred sources were on average about 25% newer than normal search results. In general, more recent updates can lead to more assistant references. To informally check, one approach is to ask a chat assistant about your topic or brand and see what sources it names. Over time, track if your updated pages start appearing in its answers. There are also specialized AI SEO reports, like Parse's research, that indicate adding substantive updates helps capture AI citations. In summary, if you see that Google is crawling your pages more often and updating them in results, it's likely AI assistants will start using them more too, given they prefer fresh, relevant content. Content freshness. Remember that not all updates are equal. ChatGPT and similar tools look for substantive changes, not cosmetic ones. If you update facts, examples, or data in a page, that can boost its AI visibility. But just touching the date or small design tweaks won't help, and can even hurt trust. So focus on real content updates and use the sitemap feed to signal those. Check metrics every month, or more frequently at first, to see trends. Note whether the number of crawl requests in Search Console goes up for your pages, and whether new pages are indexed quickly after you push them. If you have analytics or log tools, also watch organic traffic to these pages. For AI citations, if you run any chatbot-based brand analysis or keep an eye on Google AI overviews, look for your content. Maintenance SOP and rollout plan. To keep these improvements working long-term, set up a standard operating procedure. SOP. Initial audit week 1. List all pages and check current sitemap coverage and feed content. Use quick tools or scripts to compare. Update phase weeks 2 to 3. Fix the sitemap generator or plugin to include missing pages. Configure it to update last mod correctly. Set up or update your RSS Atom feed to include new content generation. Create or polish any dataset method pages with schema. Validation week 4. Run the Search Console Sitemaps report, the W3C feed validator, and Google's rich results test on key pages. Resolve any errors. Deployment, end of month 1. In Search Console, submit the updated sitemap manually. If using WebSub, ensure the hub is live. Remove any old or broken entries. Immediate monitoring, month 2. Daily check for the first 2 weeks, then weekly. Watch the crawl stats report, index coverage, and Search Console for feed fetch errors. Look for any 404s or indexing issues. Review AI visibility, month 3. Try sample queries in a chat assistant, ChatGPT, Gemini, etc. about your content. See if the updated pages are cited or used. You might also use tools, Ahrefs, Parse, if available, to get deeper insight. Ongoing maintenance. Whenever you publish significant content or large updates, regenerate and resubmit your sitemap or let it auto-update and push to your RSS feed. Monthly. Glance at Search Console. Confirm the sitemap was read, check for new errors, and note if crawl rates changed. Update any structured data on site if formats change. Quarterly, review internal linking. Make sure important pages, especially any new dataset method pages, have at least a few internal links from main hubs, like navigation or related articles. More links can help keep them crawled regularly. Yearly, update this SOP with any lessons learned or new tools. For example, if LLMs.txt, a new AI content manifest, becomes standard practice, consider creating one to guide AI crawlers. In the rollout plan, ensure each change is tested before pushing to production. Use a staging site if possible. Coordinate with web developers. For instance, when making the sitemap changes, update the site's robots.txt to list the sitemap URL, alternative to Search Console submission. After launch, prioritize any urgent fixes. Document each step and the responsible person. For example, content team to update dataset pages, IT team to verify sitemap generation, SEO team to run tests and submit to Google. By methodically following this plan, you will improve how easily both search engines and AI systems find and use your site's information. Over time, this should lead to more frequent crawling, better indexing, and hopefully more citations by assistants. Conclusion. In summary, making content machine-readable is about organizing it with the right files and pages. An up-to-date XML sitemap and RSS Atom feed tell crawlers where to look and what is new. Special pages for data and methods, marked up with structured data, help tools find the actual information behind your content. After implementing these changes, use Google's tools, Search Console, Rich Results Test, and validators to make sure everything is correct. Monitor the impact by watching crawl stats and, if possible, assistant citations. Remember that AI prefers genuinely fresh content, so keep updating meaningful info. With this approach, your site will be more discoverable not just by humans, but by AI and search crawlers too. Over time, as your pages show up in indexes and in AI assistant's answers, you'll know the effort worked. All links to sources are available in the text version of this article. You can find the full article at autopod.co.